A much-needed backup by Tiffany Stratton. Here's Kiana James and Julia. A lot of history between these two women.
Jade Cargill just made Tiffany Stratton regret every word she ever said. When the baddest woman on the planet decides you have been running your mouth a little too much, you better believe there is going to be hell to pay. Jade Cargill just delivered a beatdown so brutal that Tiffany Stratton is probably still trying to figure out what century she is living in. If you want to catch every jaw-dropping moment when WWE superstars snap, hit that subscribe button and smash the notification bell, because things are about to get absolutely insane. Let's be real for a second. Tiffany Stratton has been living her best life lately. The girl walks around like she owns every arena she steps into, flipping her hair, flashing that million-dollar smile, and acting like she is untouchable. And honestly, can you blame her? She has been on an incredible run, collecting wins like they're going out of style, and talking trash with the confidence of someone who genuinely believes they are WWE's next big thing. But here is a universal truth that applies to everyone in professional wrestling. The moment you start acting like nobody can touch you is precisely when someone decides to prove you very, very wrong. Tiffany has been particularly vocal about the women's division lately, dropping comments and interviews about how she is the complete package, the total superstar, the future of WWE. She has name-dropped practically everyone on the roster, suggesting that none of them are on her level. Most superstars brushed it off, rolled their eyes, and kept doing their thing. But Jade Cargill? Yeah, Jade heard every single word, and she was taking notes. Mental notes. The kind of notes that end with someone getting absolutely demolished. Now, if you have been following Jade's journey since she arrived in WWE, you know this woman does not play games. She's not here to make friends, pose for cute backstage selfies, or gradually work her way up the card. Jade Cargill came to WWE with one mission: dominate everyone in her path and look absolutely phenomenal while doing it. She has the presence, the power, the athleticism, and most importantly, the attitude of someone who genuinely does not care about your feelings. When Jade steps into a room, the entire energy shifts and people start acting right real quick. So picture this. SmackDown is rolling along. Matches are happening, storylines are developing, and Tiffany Stratton is backstage cutting one of her classic promos. She is going on and on about how she deserves a championship opportunity, how she has beaten everyone worth beating, and how the entire women's division should be grateful she even shows up to work. The camera is eating it up, Tiffany is in her element, and then suddenly, out of absolutely nowhere, the camera angle shifts. And standing behind Tiffany, looking like she just walked out of a storm cloud of pure rage, is Jade Cargill. The look on Tiffany's face when she realized who was standing behind her was priceless. It was that beautiful mixture of shock, fear, and the sudden realization that you might have miscalculated significantly. Tiffany tried to play it cool, started to turn around with that nervous laugh, probably about to say something witty to defuse the situation. But Jade was not there for conversation. Jade was there for violence. What happened next can only be described as a masterclass in sending messages. Jade grabbed Tiffany before she could even fully process what was happening and launched her into the nearest equipment case like she was throwing out yesterday's trash. The crash echoed through the backstage area, and suddenly every single person within a 50-foot radius stopped what they were doing and turned to watch. Because when Jade Cargill starts throwing people around, you pay attention. It is basic survival instinct. But Jade was not finished. Oh no, this was just the opening act. She pulled Tiffany up, and you could see in Tiffany's eyes that she was desperately trying to mount some kind of defense, throw a punch, create some separation, anything to stop the onslaught. But try to fight off Jade Cargill when she is locked in is like trying to stop a freight train with a foam finger. It is not happening. Jade hit her with a devastating spine buster right there on the concrete floor, and the sound it made was absolutely sickening. The entire backstage area erupted into chaos. Referees came running from every direction. Producers were scrambling to intervene, and other superstars were trying to pull Jade off before this turned into a legitimate medical emergency. But here is what made this moment so perfectly brutal. Jade was calm the entire time. She was not screaming, not losing control, not letting emotion dictate her actions. She was methodically, systematically dismantling Tiffany Stratton with the precision of a surgeon and the force of a wrecking ball. By the time officials finally managed to create some separation, Tiffany was lying on the ground, looking like she had just gone 12 rounds with a grizzly bear. Her hair was a mess, her gear was torn, and she was clutching her ribs like they might be exploring their options to relocate. Meanwhile, Jade stood there without a scratch on her, barely breathing heavy, looking down at her handiwork with the satisfaction of someone who just completed a particularly enjoyable workout. The aftermath of this attack has created some serious questions about what comes next. WWE officials are reportedly furious because you cannot just ambush people backstage without consequences, even if that person absolutely had it coming. There's talk of fines, suspensions, maybe even forcing these two into some kind of structured match to settle this properly. But here's the thing. Jade Cargil does not look like someone who cares about fines or suspensions. She looks like someone who accomplished exactly what she set out to do, and she would do it again in a heartbeat. Social media absolutely exploded after this segment aired. Fans were divided into two camps. Team Jade, who believed Tiffany had been asking for a reality check for months and finally got one, and Team Tiffany, who felt the attack was excessive and uncalled for. But regardless of which side you fall on, everyone agrees on one thing. This feud just became must-see television. These two have legitimate chemistry as rivals. Their contrasting styles create fascinating dynamics, and the personal animosity feels authentic and intense. Tiffany Stratton, to her credit, posted on social media shortly after the show, clearly still in pain, but trying to maintain her confidence. She promised that Jade just made the biggest mistake of her career, and that payback is coming. Bold words from someone who just got folded like a lawn chair. But you have to respect the fighting spirit. Tiffany has never been one to back down from a challenge, and getting attacked like that is probably only going to make her more dangerous and desperate to prove herself. The beautiful thing about this situation is how it elevates both women. Jade looks like an absolute monster who you do not want to provoke under any circumstances. Tiffany now has a legitimate vendetta and a reason to tap into a more aggressive, desperate side of her character. When these two finally meet in an official match, whether it is a standard singles bout or something more extreme, the anticipation is going to be through the roof because we have seen what Jade can do when there are no rules. Imagine what happens when she is unleashed in an actual sanctioned match. This also sends a message to the entire women's division. Jade Cargil is not waiting for opportunities to be handed to her. She is creating her own moments, making her own statements, and daring anyone to step up and try to stop her. That kind of aggressive, take-no-prisoners mentality is exactly what creates legendary careers in professional wrestling. You cannot teach that hunger, that intensity, that willingness to cross lines to get what you want. Looking forward, this feud has all the ingredients to become one of the defining rivalries of the year. You have the cocky, skilled athlete in Tiffany Stratton who needs to prove she can back up her talk. And you have the unstoppable force in Jade Cargil, who just proved she will destroy anyone who disrespects her. The matches between these two are going to be absolute wars, and the build-up is going to be filled with incredible tension and memorable moments. Jade Cargil just reminded everyone why she is one of the most dangerous women in all of professional wrestling. She waited for the perfect moment, struck with precision and power, and left Tiffany Stratton broken and humiliated. This is just the beginning of what promises to be an absolutely explosive rivalry. Thanks for watching WWE Extreme. We will